Hi, welcome to my Substack channel, Communication Excellence. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about the importance of selecting the right person for office. We're coming up on an election, pretty much messed up the last election, I would say. That's an understatement. But anyway, it's time that people begin to realize that there is a role that they play in selecting people. And sometimes I think it might be that they have a difficulty being able to read behaviors or read the individuals. And therefore they default to social media or commercials or sometimes just whatever somebody says to them. So I wanted to kind of talk to you about that today and discuss that a little bit because I think it's important that we select the right people this time into office. And I think if you turn on any news channel today, and the headlines are dominated by international conflict. America's currently engaged in a high-stakes war of influence and posturing with Iran. And that commands our attention, and it's using up a heck of a lot of our resources. But as critical as that international conflict is, actually America's fighting a second war. That's two wars. One that is far more important, really. It's a war fought not with missiles, but ideas and policies and votes. This is the war of democracy versus fascism and oligarchy. Democracy represents the collective good, shared power, and equality. Fascism and oligarchy represent the concentration of power, greed, and authoritarian control. Make no mistake about it, this ideological battle of good versus evil is the most dangerous war we face. You know, in the Christian faith, the Bible gives us a clear checklist of behaviors to look for. In the book of Galatians, the Apostle Paul lists the behaviors of a good, righteous person, describing them as the fruit of the Spirit. These traits are love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. But just before that verse, he warns of evil behaviors to avoid: hatred, discord, jealousy, fits of rage, selfish ambition, and factions. Sound familiar? The Tanakh of Hebrew Bible, or the Hebrew Bible, I guess, is the profound truth in the book of Proverbs, chapter 10, contrasts the wicked with the righteousness, stating, "The mouth of the righteous is a fountain of life, but the mouth of the wicked conceals violence." It warns us that hatred stirs up strife, reminding us that those who seek to divide us are acting out of evil, while those who act with integrity walk securely. And halfway across the world in Hinduism, the sacred text, the Bhagavad Gita, I guess it's called, outlines this exact same battle in chapter 16. It describes the divine nature, the traits of good, as opposing fearlessness, purity, charity, nonviolence, truthfulness, and freedom from anger. In stark contrast, it defines the demonic nature, the roots of evil, as arrogance, pride, anger, conceit, harshness, and ignorance. Buddhism, ancient text, the Gahamapada, warns us in chapter 9 to restrain your mind from evil, noting that painful is the accumulation of evil. It tells us that whoever is slow in doing good, their mind will naturally delight in destructive behavior. It teaches us good and evil are built drop by drop, action by action. I apologize if I've messed up the pronunciation of those books. In Islam, the Quran emphasizes these same virtues of character. Surah Luqman 31:18 instructs believers on how to treat others, and do not turn your cheek in contempt towards people. Do not walk through the earth exultantly. Indeed, Allah does not like everyone self-deluded and boastful. Furthermore, Surah Al-Imran 3:134 praises the righteous as those who restrain anger and who pardon the people. Do you see the pattern across Christianity, Judaism, Hinduism, Buddhism, and Islam? The definition of good and evil is universally identical. Good is rooted in self-control, truth, humility, and serving others. The very foundations of a healthy democracy. Evil is rooted in rage, selfish ambition, arrogance, boastfulness, and violence, the exact traits that fuel fascism and oligarchy. The vast majority of religions agree good must triumph over evil. But how do we as Americans fight to ensure that democracy triumphs over fascism? The answer is hiding in plain sight. Watch the behavior of the people who are up for election. Put aside your partisan labels, your television ads, and your political spins. Look strictly at their character and who they are as people. You need to ask yourself, do they exhibit the fruit of the Spirit? Do they speak truth, show kindness, and walk in integrity? Are they free from anger and boastfulness? Or do they display the traits of the wicked, hatred, discord, fits of rage, arrogance, and selfish ambition? Fascism and oligarchy take root when we ignore evil behavior and we normalize it and hand in the keys to the power. Democracy survives and thrives when we choose leaders whose daily behaviors align with the very universal good. By holding our candidates to these timeless religious standards of human decency, we choose good over evil. We protect our nation, and that is how we win the most important war we're fighting today. And that's the war to win democracy over fascism and oligarchies. Now, it becomes difficult to figure out sometimes how to do that. And my advice here is we have tainted the mass media systems of America. Social media is tainted. Mass media has been consumed by all the oligarchs now. So you literally are going to have no channels that aren't controlled by the oligarchs. And they are basically in support of fascism. If you ask them if they like what's going on now, they're saying bring it on because it reduces their costs and their taxes. You see what it's delivering to us: high costs, less freedom, just total chaos and disruption constantly. It creates stress. So how do we discern the evil from the good? Again, it's defining good first, looking for it now. So what kind of behaviors do good people exhibit? What kind of actions do you see them doing in their everyday life? Now, if you don't know your representative that's running for office and you're trying to get to know them through the media, you've already lost. So you have to figure out a way to get these people to come to you. And I would say, come together as a community and talk to each other about what you know about these people. What if they ran businesses? What kind of businesses did they run? Are they billionaires? And if they're billionaires, what do they do with their money? Are they paying their employees a commensurate wage for helping them get those $1 billion? Are they individuals who have partaken in different government programs before? How did they vote? What did they vote for? Are they in support of the existing organization, Donald Trump and his regime, and the oligarchs that support them? Do they support them? And then, if you're uncomfortable and you don't know, then you pay attention to what they're saying. Today I heard a person who is a Republican and supports Donald Trump and the Republican Party, regardless of the fact that it's really not helping people today. It's hurting people. It represents the evil that we discussed earlier more than it does the good, although they will tell you they're representing the good. But the fact is, when you look at their behavior and the results of their behavior, it has not delivered those things that we wanted to see: unity, peacefulness, the taking care of those who need taking care of. All of those things that those religious, and by the way, even the people who are not religious, those are the basic principles they also say represent living together comfortably and represent good. So how do you do this? You find out more about these people, what they do, what they voted for, how they behave, if they run businesses, what kind of businesses do they run? Do they help people? Are they hiring people? Have they paid them a fair, honest wage for helping them make the millions of dollars they've made if they're a millionaire? Are they lawyers, and what did they represent and who did they represent, and what do people in the community know about them? All too often we're putting people who nobody knows anything about, other than you see pictures of them with their family. That doesn't necessarily represent that family is cohesive. It also doesn't represent whether or not they as individuals are people who care about the rest of the community. It's more important not that they're a family person, that they care about the community. They've contributed to helping the community grow and to take care of people who were in need. The things that you expect out of those good things we discussed. They're not selfish. They're not focused on violence. Some of the people, I saw one of our representatives in Oklahoma stand up and challenge a man to a fight in a hearing. That is not what we call good. Those are behaviors that are representative of the evil side of things. They're not good people when they're willing to do things like that, when violence is the answer. At this point in time, you should be really dissolving your thoughts about party and thinking about the right people to put in the office. Okay? That's the key that you want to be focused on. Parties are pretty much dissolving themselves. They're infighting both Democratic, Republican parties. All the infighting that's going on between within those two parties is enough to make you question. Those are not good behaviors that you can observe. You see the infighting with both of those parties, you know something isn't right with the party. So I'm telling folks today, forget party. Vote for that person who you feel is going to be right and deliver you what you need and will protect the democracy, will protect the things that we have spent 250 years living and enjoying, not tossing it away to those who want to control you and take your freedoms away. That's the battle we're fighting. And you only have a few months to get your act together and understand who you want to put in office. Take this seriously. Every single one of you should go down and vote. Every single person who has the right to vote should go vote. And you should vote for don't worry about the party in this general election. That doesn't make any difference. You vote for the person who you think really will deliver you the right stuff. Right now, I look at our senators and I look at our congresspeople, and we have a whole bunch of people throwing all kinds of these IT big factories into Oklahoma. And a lot of people are going, I had no idea this was coming. What kind of representative has not been down there to talk to you about that before it happens? It's the one that's getting a kickback on whatever they are spending on those particular programs, those particular manufactured or data centers, they call them. Okay? But they could be impacting you greatly. And they're not even talking to you before they put them in there. According to one of these, I saw a documentary today for about 25 minutes on Oklahoma and where they're putting them in Oklahoma. And people are not happy, folks. And if I was that person and Langford or anybody else wasn't down there telling me that this was coming before it happened to me, I'm not sure Langford is the guy that I want running or representing me in Congress anymore. I want somebody who's going to watch out for me. So you people need, and it wasn't just Langford, it would be the representatives, everybody that's up there that's representing you in an Oklahoma way. Or if you're in Texas or Arizona. And by the way, all of these are areas they're looking at because they have large spots of land, and that land is under no city or state or county jurisdiction ordinance, or it's not protected. So it's really just farmland is what it is, and that's what they're kind of destroying to put up these data centers. Farm country where cattle are grazing, where they're growing wheat and corn and other things that feed us. They're going to take that. We're going to have less of that available to us in the near future because these data centers are going to grab up that land. These are things that need to be talked through. You need to understand and try to get in there and make this happen. Learn where the people are on the things that impact you. Make them respond to you. Make them come to you. Don't listen to the mass media. Don't watch television. Don't watch social media. Don't listen to your favorite podcaster on any of these. All the podcasters are doing is having other podcasters come on and talk about what they think is going to happen that they don't really know right now. That's one of the major problems I have with podcasting. So I am not a podcaster, folks. I'm a consultant, and I teach people how to connect with other people in a way that they can read them and develop better relationships with them. That's what you need to do with your representatives. And there's a couple books that I have that I use as textbooks to teach this, and you're welcome to go purchase those books. They're They're at my website, and I'll put my website up here on the screen so you can see it. It's victorlvogel.com, www.victorlvogel.com. And as soon as you get there, you go down and scroll down a little bit, past all the stuff it says about me, and you'll see that book listing. And those books, one of them is called Navigating Conversations. It's about how you put emotional intelligence with the concept of what happens when two people talk to each other. What's really how to master that and put emotional intelligence with that, so you begin to be one of those persons that are focusing more towards the good when you're interfacing with other people. And the other one is understanding the language of the body. It'll tell you all about the difference between nonverbal communication and verbal communication. You put so much more emphasis and meaning on nonverbal communication. So it's something you can pay attention to tell you whether the people who want your vote are congruent, whether they are consistent about what they're saying, whether you can kind of believe what they're saying, or whether they're trying to cover it up and go down the standard politician route. We need to make our politicians more accountable to us. This is how you do it. Okay, I'm going to let you go. If anybody has any questions, or if you need me if you happen to buy a couple of those books and your friends get together and talk about how you can learn to read people better with those books, and you happen to do that, and say like getting together in a group and talking about it, and you want me to come in remotely and be there, you're welcome to contact me. And we can talk about I can talk about the little nuances you can find that will help you be able to read people better, so that you don't make the same mistake we made last time. We elected a whole bunch of people who have really stuck it to Americans. They really have. And they're continuing to make millions on the backs of Americans. And it's time we stop it and take control of the country again and keep what we had. That 250 years of history means something. No other country had that. We were the idol of all other countries. And now we're on the warning watch list for countries. How does that happen? There's a behavior that you can look at. Most countries are putting America on the warning watch list. We are now a dangerous country to visit. My God, when did that happen? But that is a behavior. That's one of those behaviors that's right out there smacking you in the face. And if you haven't seen it or looked at it, you should look it up and ask, why aren't people coming to America to spend their money here? If I'm a small businessman, I'm hurting because Canada doesn't visit, Mexico doesn't visit, and Europe doesn't want to visit, and a bunch of other countries are damn scared to come in. You can't even come in and have a soccer game without it being disrupted. Oh my God. Oh my God. When did all of that happen? We know when it happened. Now the question is, when are we going to get rid of it? Okay, so that's how you can use communication. Learn it. Learn how to read nonverbal behaviors. Learn how to ask the right questions in the right way. I have a whole 5-hour series on that, asking the right question, on my YouTube channel. It's free, folks. I know it's 5 hours, but you're going to learn a lot about how to ask the right questions. Okay? So, you have a good evening. I hope you take this to heart. Again, the books are really not that expensive. They're ebooks. They're easy to read. They're short, but they're packed full of the right information that you need to help you make the right decision in November. The one that's right for you, not the party. And for God's sake, stay off of media. It's horrible. There are a few places that you can go to that you get information, but even those are beginning to be inundated with all the Trump and all that kind of stuff. So have a good evening.